Hello and welcome to BlueSky Integration Studio. In this first video we're going to do a quick overview of the software, and we're going to go ahead and get it installed for you so that you can get up and running quickly. BlueSky Integration Studio is a powerful back-end data integration engine. It allows you to extract, load, and cleanse data from virtually any data source to any data source. You can easily extract information from one database to another, one database to a file to a database, any which way you want to move data. You can build complex and fully automated data integration processes. Most databases and file types are supported out of the box. As you can see, we have a broad coverage of the different database types and file types that are out there, including Oracle and Teradata, Netezza, SQL Server, also Amazon Redshift on the cloud. Okay, and some of the other important features of BlueSky Integration Studio is that it has promotion management built in. So you can actually have a dev, QA, and production server of BlueSky Integration Studio and easily move your jobs between those servers. We also have version control built in, so you can, as you build jobs and compile them, you can create versions, and you can have up to 10 versions out of the box, and then you can increase that value if you'd like through the configuration parameters. We also support global parameters, so you can store things like the server name, the username, and the password, all in a global area within the system, so that if those things change down the road, you only have to change them in one place, and all of the ETL jobs that use those settings are changed instantly. We also have the ability to load data in memory so that we can do very fast in-memory type lookups. We have full search capability, so for instance, after a while, if you have 400 or 500 BlueSky Integration Studio jobs, and you have to make a change to a table or a field in a table, then you can simply search for that information throughout all of your 400 or 500 jobs, and it'll tell you where you have that table being referenced in the system. We also support full search capability. So say for instance down the road you have 400 or 500 biz jobs and you need to make a change to a particular table. You can simply search throughout the entire system and it'll tell you exactly which jobs are using that table. So you can easily find things in the system. We support caching for inserts and updates, for the whole merge. And we also have automatic job documentation, which is huge for projects because if you build say 50 or 60 ETL processes for a particular project, and then you get to the end of the project and the customer wants you to document that, or you want to be able to document your processes, all that is built in. You just have to hit a few buttons and all that can be dumped into a Word document for you, and every property and parameter and setting and code and everything related to that, all of those ETL jobs will be automatically documented for you. BlueSky Integration Studio is a client-server application. So what that means is there's actually two pieces that you have to install. There's the enterprise server piece and the Biz Designer software that goes on the client PC. The enterprise server is typically installed on a server in the data center. It can be installed on your local PC as well. The BlueSky Integration Studio server runs as a set of 3 Windows services. The Biz Designer software is typically installed on the user's PC, and that's where you're going to do your development and design your biz jobs and then compile them and run them on the server. And then once all that's installed, then you can start building your ETL jobs. And here's a sample of a job where we're loading some information. We're pre-processing rejects, we're transforming the information and doing some in-memory lookups, and then we're outputting the information to multiple outputs. So this is a fairly complex job. We're going to start with stuff that's much simpler than this, but I just want to give you an example of what an ETL job might look like. So the first thing we're going to do is install the software. Okay, so you're either going to get the software directly from Relational Solutions, or you can download it from our website. And it's typically going to come in a zip file like this called bizinstall.zip. So the first thing you want to do is uncompress that. So I'll just go ahead and uncompress it. And when you look in that folder, you'll see that there's a few folders in here. You have the designer install and the enterprise server install, the personal server install, and then the related documentation. So the first thing we're going to install is the enterprise server installation. I'm going to click on that and right click and say run as administrator. So the reason you want to run it as the administrator is because it needs to install Windows services, and you have to be an administrator on the machine to install and configure Windows services. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and accept the license agreement and click next. If you have a previous version of BlueSky Integration Studio, you can simply click this button here to remove previous versions, and then you'll click the Install Now button. And then down here you click the Install button, and you'll see that it goes ahead and it's going to install BlueSky Integration Studio and automatically start the Windows services for you. Okay, it's done. So as you can see, it only takes a minute to install BlueSky Integration Studio Server. And now what we can do is we'll come out here and I'll go to Services on my machine, and I can see that 3 services were installed on my machine, and they're right here. BlueSky Integration Studio Server Scheduler, the server itself, and the queue manager. And they're all started and ready to go. We also have installed a BlueSky Integration Studio icon on your desktop, and this is the control application. So if you double click on that, you can start and stop the Windows services right through this application here. There's also some configuration parameters. For instance, you can change the port that BlueSky Integration Studio Server runs on. And you can also enable or disable job versioning and increase or decrease the number of jobs that it versions. Okay, so BlueSky Integration Studio Server is up and running. So now we'll go back one directory and we'll double click on the designer installation, and we'll also run that as administrator. Okay, again, if I have a previous version, I can go ahead and remove that and then click the Install Now button and click the Install button. Okay, so once BlueSky Integration Studio's designer is set up, it's installed, then I get another icon over here. So now you'll notice I have my BlueSky Integration Studio Server Enterprise Server, and I have an icon for BlueSky Integration Studio Designer. So this is the server and this is the designer software. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the designer software and get connected to my server. So I installed my server on my local machine for demonstration purposes. If you installed BlueSky Integration Studio Server on a server in your data center, for instance, you would just need to know what that server name is on the DNS for that server, and that's what you would enter here. So, for instance, say it's called, My Company Biz Server. You would enter that here, or www.mycompany's bizserver.com, or however you get to that server, that's what you would type in here. I installed on my local machine, so I can just put in localhost. The default username password out of the box is administrator manager. So if I go ahead and type in manager for the password and then click OK, I am now connected to my BlueSky Integration Studio server on my local machine. So as you can see here, I'm connected to my local machine. Okay, so in the next series, we're going to talk about start talking about the interface for BlueSky Integration Studio Designer and start learning how to build some jobs.